Hello and welcome to this week's video. So as I mentioned in the last video, finally got a new job as a working student, which means I do work for 20 hours a week. And this is the second week now that I'm in, and I thought I would take you with me a little bit, but I have a couple of updates that I made for my desk. I finally got a smaller keyboard. I bought this Logitech one, and I'm so happy. I needed to get rid of my huge keyboard. It took up so much space. I couldn't handle it without my Cintiq on, and with my Cintiq on my desk, I can't handle it anymore, and I had to find a solution. And I was always a little bit too cheap to buy a new keyboard. But now finally I decided to go for a wireless one. This is only charging right now, but it looks like this. I think you probably seen this already on the internet. I don't know. It's the Logitech one and I really like it. I also got myself a new plant because I finally decided to not kill a plant. This is my goal for this one. I won't kill it. You are in good hands, boy. At least I will try. Also, please ignore my skin. I am having breakouts, but I don't like to touch up my skin on videos because I think, honestly, everyone has skin and skin looks like this sometimes, and that's okay. But I am still getting used to this new routine of mine, and I think I'm a little bit stressed about that. So I am having a little bit of a breakout in my face. But I think that will go away very soon. On this day, I didn't have too much time and energy left to draw after work, but I still wanted to use the new space that I got, so I decided to just go for a very simple sketchbook session. For the last couple of weeks, I felt a little bit intimidated every time I wanted to draw from imagination. But I am slowly trying to face that sudden fear, and I will talk more about that towards the end of the video. I really didn't know where this is coming from. Maybe I thought it was because I focused on studying more in my sketchbook than on drawing from imagination. But in the study session that you can see in this part of the video, you can watch me doodle some faces, at least from imagination. And I am very proud of myself that I finally tried to do it again. As mentioned, I still didn't feel pretty energetic, so I didn't feel too good about them while drawing. And this is also something that will stretch throughout the whole video because the last 2 weeks were very chaotic for me. But looking back at them now, 2 weeks later, I actually think that they aren't that bad and I do like some of them a lot. It is the next day now. I was at work until 5 p.m. It is now 7:30 p.m. After work, I had an appointment for something that I am very excited about. Every time I wanted to go to live drawing session, I had to take the train and drive an hour long, and I didn't want to do that anymore. We had no option here in my hometown to go to a live drawing session, so I wanted to change that, and I did. And I had an appointment today to go and listen to the person who's instructing all the teachers that are going to teach there. I am not going to teach there. My class will be only a live drawing session, so people can come and draw a model. And that is a very cool opportunity. This will be the test run, so I only have one session, and depending on how many people will come, they will try to make this a regular thing, which is amazing. And also, enough people have already assigned. I'm very proud of myself for doing this, and I'm so happy that I don't have to take the train anymore. Yeah. I bought myself a smaller sketchbook because I don't have one, and I got this Talent Art Creation sketchbook. And my goal for today is to see how the paper feels, so I will keep you posted on what I think about the sketchbook in this video. As I mentioned, I started this warm-up session with this smaller sketchbook. First, I can now remember why I stopped buying sketchbooks in this size. I hate it. I feel so much more comfortable drawing on bigger paper, so I would rather take a huge sketchbook with me to, for example, a cafe instead of a smaller one, even though it is harder to carry. It gives you so much more space to draw freely, and if you choose to draw smaller, you can do that as well. I just love A4 size sketchbooks way too much. But I want to talk a little bit about my impressions of the Talent Art Creation sketchbook here. So first, I was blown away by the paper. It is pretty smooth, not quite as smooth as the moleskin paper, but that is only noticeable when you smudge your pencil. Then you will see some small little texture, but I think that is okay. Drawing and writing with a ballpoint pen feels amazing on this paper. Your pen literally glides over the paper. But then I tried to use one of my other main mediums, highlighters. If you've watched some of my other videos, you probably know by now I use them not only for drawing squares in the background, but also for shading and painting itself. And I am therefore very sad to say that the paper doesn't really hold up to them. That was so disappointing. They can bleed through if you use them layered, but the paper will start tearing even with the first layer if your pen is a little bit juicier. I really love the effect I get when smudging my pencil in my moleskin sketchbook, and I also love that I can use highlighters and even layer them up to a certain point, of course. The moleskin paper is absolutely perfect for me, and with this sketchbook I was hoping to get a sketchbook that feels like that, but a lot cheaper. The Talent Art Creation sketchbooks cost between 9 and 13 euros, and they are also available in all sorts of colors, while the moleskin is between 23 and 29 euros, depending on the colors on Amazon. It is also only available in 3 colors as far as I can tell, which is a little bit of a bummer. It also got quite expensive over the last year, which sucks. But I think for now I will stick with my moleskin one for the next sketchbook, because my main techniques are blending my pencil and working with highlighter, and because the next sketchbook will be a challenge in itself, I think I want to make it easier for me by working with a paper that I know I love. If you're looking for a sketchbook with smooth paper and you don't want to use highlighters for the drawing itself and not that medium in general, then I think that the Talent Art Supply sketchbook would actually be an option for you. Because I got annoyed by the size of that sketchbook, I decided to continue sketching in my bigger sketchbook before calling it a day. In the upcoming clip, I will tell you a little bit about the struggles that I faced now that I got a job, but I still wanted to state that I am not complaining about not having time or being busy with YouTube and work and stuff. But I thought that it might help someone out there to see that there are other people who feel bad when something changes in their life. I have a hard time to find a routine to fit in drawing every single day while also trying to get everything else done. I will try my best to find a routine again that works for me, and I wanted to share that journey, including my thoughts, in an honest way with you. The last weeks were pretty rough, and most of the times when I'm struggling with something, I will also have issues with my art as well. Therefore, I decided to not only share what I am doing, but also the struggles that I'm facing mentally. And now,
I will leave the rest to Video di Laura from the next day to explain.
I wanted to talk about a couple of things because yesterday I quit drawing pretty soon because I realized that I was feeling kind of bad about things in life because, you know, I have a job now as a working student and it takes up 20 hours a week, which I would have spent drawing otherwise. And it's kind of weird for me because it feels like a huge step back, but I know that it isn't that way. But I sometimes ask myself, you know, if this is the proof that I won't make it, and my fear of failing starts coming up again. But I'm working so hard on my art and on me as a person that I think, you know, like, I am doing things. I am doing the best that I can. And yeah, I will keep trying. Oh my god, where did I place this here? And then I felt quite bad and I decided to call it a day. I can imagine that a lot of people outside feel that way, especially, you know, if you didn't go to art school and you have to teach yourself and you do multiple things on the side like I do. For example, I study something different. It's not art related. And I work as a waitress and now I work as a video editor. And sometimes you have moments where your goal seems to be so out of reach and doubts come up, and that is, I think, totally normal. The thing is, you have to decide what you want to do with these doubts, because yesterday, for example, I gave in, which is totally fine. Sometimes you gotta do that. And then I felt terrible. And what I learned from this and what I learned from having these feelings is that I just know so much more that I want to become a character artist. It's a lot busier in my life than it has been before. I am currently warming up. I would have been on the road to Nuremberg already, but my boyfriend decided to join me, which is amazing. So I'm waiting for him to get ready now, and I will use this time to warm up.
As I told you, I went to Nuremberg that day. I was hoping to draw cool things in that museum, and the museum itself was amazing. I will definitely go there again to draw, but this time hopefully without getting a migraine and more time on hands. This week was all over the place, but I still decided to keep everything in this video because this is how real life is sometimes. It's not all polished and perfect like you see on social media all the time. But I know that once I get used to this new routine, I will have the time to focus on art more again. This is also an experience that will hopefully teach me a lot about not only video editing, but also about balancing life, art, and hopefully myself. In this warm-up session, I started with a 30-minute class mode on line of action. I talked on this channel many times before about line of action, so if you want to learn more about that, I have a couple of videos on my channel where I talk more in depth about my warm-up process. But I quit it when the 5-minute poses started. Instead of doing them, I jumped over on Pinterest and looked for nice references to get down really quickly. This session was not about drawing perfect things, but about putting my pen on the paper and warming up while waiting for my boyfriend to get ready for Nuremberg. And now, I will leave you with some impressions of the museum. It was pretty huge, and as I said, I will definitely go there again to draw. Maybe also with friends and not on my own. A couple of days later, I finally had the time to draw another one of these characters that I like to do every now and then. I don't hate her, but I also don't love the way she turned out. But I am so proud of finishing her and just doing it. Just painting a character based on a random idea that I had of an orc girl with a squarey shaped body and also with pretty yellow skin and red tattoos. That is something that I've learned and I am still learning from the book The Artist's Way. Just do it. It sounds so much easier than it is, and every creative person knows this feeling. In the chapter that I read last week, Julia also said that it might help you to take on smaller challenges that you know you can finish. That way you will learn that you are indeed capable of finishing them and taking up new challenges. She wrote, "Selecting a challenge and meeting it creates a sense of self-empowerment that becomes the ground for further successful challenges. Every character drawing, no matter how small or unimportant, could be a challenge. Of course, I also know when I don't want to spend more time on something, and that is also totally fine. But I'm still trying to finish most of them. If they end up looking good, I win. If I end up drawing something that I don't like at all, I still win, because I probably learned something on the way, and I also finished something. The more challenges you meet, the more risks you are willing to take, and the more risks you are willing to take, the closer you get to your dream." Julia also wrote, "Viewed this way, running a marathon increases your chances of writing a full-length play. Writing a full-length play gives you a leg up on a marathon. You don't have to do it perfectly."
It's Monday and I am so tired. I just came home from work. It's almost 6:30 p.m. right now and I need to finish the video that I'm going to upload late tomorrow. I didn't make it in time for today. I still need to get used to this new time schedule that I have and this very big thing that is taking up a lot of space right now in my life, which is work. And I still need to figure out how to balance everything and when to cut my videos or record them. I am struggling a lot actually to find a balance with this new thing. It is difficult, I know that, and I also know that it will hopefully get better soon. And now I will cut my video for tomorrow and I guess it will take me up to 4 hours maybe, we will see. So that is my update for today. Just a small little check-in. I will hopefully have time to draw tomorrow after work. Yeah. It is now Tuesday and I am done with my work and I also finished doing all the house cleaning and stuff. And today I need to say I am very comfortable and I am looking forward to this drawing session. But before starting to draw, I also need to read the current chapter of The Artist's Way. Usually I read my new chapters every Monday, but because I spent my time yesterday editing the video that I uploaded today, I had no energy left to focus on reading a chapter like this. So I decided to move it to today, and that is what I will do now. And then I will start drawing, and I'm looking forward to do that.
In this part of the video, you can see me doing some very quick figure drawings in my sketchbook again. Later, I switched to my warm-up sketchbook to loosen up even more because I felt a little bit intimidated by the thought of drawing in my sketchbook while feeling that way. While I will play this footage, I wanted to talk about more things from that chapter that I just read. One of the main concepts of that book is that every single one of us human beings is creative. Creativity is as natural as breathing to us. Julia Cameron describes creativity as a river that floats through every single one of us. In this chapter, she also emphasizes on the importance of listening and really hearing what ideas you already have. Art is not about thinking something up, it is about getting something down. That approach actually helped me so much. I used to get very uncomfortable if I couldn't just come up with what to draw. Ever since I'm working with this book, coming up with ideas feels so different now. It's like closing your eyes and listening to the ideas within you instead of searching for them the hard way. I feel a lot safer because I know I have ideas. I know I am creative, and I know where I can find them. I feel so much more connected to myself and my own thoughts. The morning pages probably played the biggest part in all of this. They are the best exercise to practice listening to yourself and to your thoughts. One of this week's assignments was also to play some music for 20 minutes and then draw everything that you come up with. That exercise taught me a very important lesson. I realized how many ideas I just dismissed because I thought they weren't good enough. Approaching an exercise as small as this one like that made me think. Because I noticed this pattern even when I'm just doodling in my sketchbook. Even if I know I just want to doodle a small little face in the corner of my paper, I am thinking to myself, oh, I can't draw that because that is a stupid idea. Oh, I can't do that because that is not very unique, but that is the wrong approach. I will try to do this exercise with the listening to music part regularly from now on, and maybe that way I can learn how to loosen up even more and listen better without dismissing my ideas within a second.
Yesterday's drawing session didn't end up being the way I imagined it to be. It's still very difficult for me to find the energy after work to draw, but I set myself a goal to draw at least for an hour and I ended up doing this. So I'm very proud of myself, and as I mentioned, in my building up a habit or finding a routine or something, I don't remember. In that video, I also talked about setting smaller goals on a daily basis in order to find a routine. So that is also what I try to do with this new job that I got. I tell myself to sit down to draw for 30 minutes at least, so you know that I can get used to it, and then over time I can sit there and spend more time drawing because I am used to that routine. So yeah, the goal is to warm up now, and then I wanna make a clothing study digitally, and then I wanna look into my portfolio project notes because I wanna find inspiration to maybe work on that a little bit more. Let's get started with warm up.
While you can watch me warm up, I wanted to talk about another big topic Julia talked about in that chapter. Something that all creatives struggle with in one way or another: perfectionism. I wouldn't have called myself a perfectionist before reading this chapter, because I am okay with leaving things rough, not perfect, even though I know I could do them better if I would be willing to spend more time on certain things. That was my definition of perfectionism. I thought perfectionists couldn't leave things unfinished or unpolished. But what I learned in this chapter goes way deeper. Perfectionism is a refusal to let you move ahead. It can keep you from doing things because you think you won't do it perfectly. And that was something where I found myself in. It was the answer to the fear that all of a sudden started creeping up on me and that I talked about in the beginning of this video. The fear of drawing from imagination. I remember the moments where I wanted to draw something from imagination again because I used to love the challenge and the feeling you get while doing this. But I, all of a sudden, felt the fear of me failing. The fear of me proving to myself that I am not good or that I am not as good as I used to be. To summarize, I was afraid of not doing it perfectly. Because I am a perfectionist in some way or form. Perfectionism took over me and gave my fear power over me. In some form, this is also pride. It is pride that makes us want to draw something perfect. We want to show off to ourselves or other people, or please our parents, our friends, or whatever. Proof that we are indeed good. Stuck in all that fear, I forgot what my main goals were with this drawing from imagination thing. To have fun and to improve. In week 7, you have to ask yourself what you would do if you didn't have to do it perfectly. A couple of things popped up in my head. First, draw from imagination, and second, my portfolio, and third, more characters. I am actually proud to say that ever since I am working with this book, I am doing the last one. I also post them on Instagram, so if you want to see those more often, check out my Instagram. This week, I learned so much, and I am glad that I took my time to do so. So I am done with my warm-up session. I ended up warming up for so long. I drew so much, but I wasn't happy with anything because I don't know what it is. I think I didn't eat enough, or maybe I drank too much tea that had caffeine in it. So maybe I'm a little bit dizzy because of that, but it feels as if I don't have my hand under control. But some days just do be like that, so I took a little bit of a break. I still feel like that, but I feel a little bit better now. So I think I want to start with a clothing study. Maybe I will paint a whole figure from reference. I don't know how much time I want to commit to that. I will start doing the study now. The reference to this painting is saved on my Pinterest, so if you want to give it a try, check out the description down below. I had such a hard time with this painting study. First, I couldn't get anything down right and I was close to giving up, but then I pushed through and I ended up having so much fun. And all of a sudden, I spent 2.5 hours on this, even though I planned on maybe spending 1 hour. I definitely want to do more of these in the future because I think I know what I could do to improve this. I tend to smudge a little bit too much, and I think in my next study I will try to focus on leaving more sharp edges in there as well, because I love the way that looks. I will also maybe try to study other approaches to painting clothes and learn from them first. I noticed that learning by studying from others in combination with studying from photos and live is the most beneficial way for me to learn and improve. I know this video is a little bit chaotic, but I am still trying things out. And honestly, the last 2 weeks also felt like pure chaos to me, so it's no wonder that this is reflected in this video. But I am pretty positive that things will feel a little bit better soon. But yeah, I will leave you to this painting now and say goodbye, because I kind of forgot to record an outro, so enjoy what you see. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next week.